Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
This episode of Still Got Game is brought to you by ThinkGeek and the Craft Beer Club. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 328. Still Got Game is the official podcast of ToolToPlay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
And Tiffany Electrified Nolan will be joining us later from the news desk. What is going on, Joel Dude I Rock Albert? We had a couple missed shows.
Yeah, and why did I miss last week?
Last week you were flying back or driving
I was on
back
vacation.
or something, and you were coming back and you were afraid that there was going to be some issues.
Yeah, because the great snowstorm was ripping through. We took the train all the way down to Florida, through the East Coast, went to Washington, D.C., visited the nation's capital. It was a great time, but I was afraid that, the snowstorm that hit was going to be shitty. But we got lucky. We were in way before it even hit. But
Nice.
from what I hear, East Coast is totally fucked right now. Now, did it hit Boston all that hard or no?
No, we got
Wow.
1/32 of an inch.
Wow. New York got like 4 feet. I got a couple of photos from my buddy Ken up there, a couple of other dudes. Their entire homes, car all the way up to the window and past, filled with snow. It's crazy over there.
I've been there before. This was
Yeah.
this
For
was our
Chicago,
break.
it happens every weekend. I'm not even like, they're all like, oh my God, there's so much snow. I'm like, yeah, I know. Try negative 30 and that much snow. That's usually what we get. So
It's called wintertime. It happens. But yeah, there was a
But,
lot of
yeah.
QQing on the internets.
lots of QQing. Yeah. A lot of like, where did the snow come from? The sky. That's what.
Yep. Just like it does every year.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm back. So I apologize for missing the show. I made it back safely. In fact, I might have, I don't know, I can't remember. I think I got back like 8 o'clock on Monday. So it probably wouldn't have been me rolling in and doing a show. Probably wouldn't have helped.
No.
It would have
You know,
been
we have enough problems with you rolling in from work.
completely on
doing
time.
the
Like
show.
I could have
Yes,
a
yeah.
day off. Like I could be like, I'm taking Monday off. Not sure if I'm going to make the show. A lot of things to not do. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, it's good we're back. And I guess we'll just jump right into the show proper. We'll start off with feedback from last week's show. Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Quag comments. I thought you guys were going to keep it to no worse than every other week. There have been at least 2 non-shows at the time I'm writing this. I'm not being a dick. I just missed the show.
No, you're not being a dick.
We did say we were going to aim for no worse than every other, and we fucked that up in January.
Yeah, we did. Right away. Well, to be fair, we said we'd try. We tried to do that.
We did try. So
We did.
And we're going to continue to try. We're going to attempt to get that going from this point on. So, yeah, we fucked up once. We will not fuck up again, I hope.
Wait a minute. We will try to not fuck up.
Oh, yeah, we will try. To try, we have to make sure we say try because that covers us in the event that we fuck up again.
Exactly.
But I'm sure there'll be times this summer. I know it's going to be crazy between weddings and everything else. There's going to be some potential missed shows. So be prepared. But hopefully we can make 6 months without that happening.
Yeah, let's hope so.
All right. Sarah comments. Still newish to your show, but has quickly become one of my favorites. You guys and Nerdist. Thanks for what you do.
It's cool. I like that they're putting us up next to Nerdist. That's a great podcast.
Yeah.
Good people there.
Yeah, Chris Hardwick, good shit. So
Yeah.
I'll take that. Being
Yeah, I'll take that.
tied with him, maybe.
A little bit above. A little bit
Okay.
above.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit above. I mean, they're trying to get on our level. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. That guy puts out like 3 podcasts a week, every week, forever. So it is what it is. All right. And last but not least, Pecker with a 3 and some Ks. Pecker comments. Funny show last week. Keep it up. Well, it definitely wasn't last week, but it was a week. And it was
and
probably
one more.
funny.
Yeah.
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 It was probably pretty funny.
I can't even remember last week what we did. I know that it was right before we were leaving. I can't even remember the show, but generally speaking, they're all so good that they blend together. You know how that works? Like when
Yeah, I know.
everything's great,
You
then
can't
every
picture
show
individual.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, it was so good, but they're all so good. So how can I
Right.
even keep track?
It would have to go terribly wrong in order for me to know, what show you'd be talking about.
Yeah, like
I'm sure it
episodes
was
where we have Skype issues and stuff that we remember those.
like this one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some Skype stuff going on. I see myself freezing. The video version of the show will not be as good as the audio version. Well, it kind of never is.
I don't know. Yeah, the shakiness of the audio may also creep its ugly head into
am I going Mr. Roboto sometimes?
a little bit, yeah.
Oh, we'll see how this turns out. Awesome. Thanks, Skype. We love you. All right. Well, if you have awesome feedback like that, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site-related news, I certainly have nothing. I'm sure, Jay, you have nothing at all.
Nope, site's running smoothly. Everything's copacetic. I haven't really given much thought to any other new things lately, although I have a couple ideas, but you're not going to see them for God knows how long. My priorities are now officially booked until the end of August, so... Yeah.
That's good. All right. Then, yeah, I think we're in a holding pattern.
Yeah, we're in a holding pattern. Yeah.
We're just seeing how things shake out.
Oh, I do have to mention, this is kind of big side news. If you guys are Destiny fans, which a lot of people listening to the show are, we are all Destiny fans. Next Saturday, I can't remember the date. I think it's like February 3rd or 4th or something. I don't know.
It's February 6th.
This is how good I am at dates. February 6th. I'm going to be playing with Deej from Bungie. We're going to have a little, I don't know if we're doing like a one-on-one thing where we hang out. I haven't really solidified the plans. Hopefully by next Saturday I'll have something, or at least next show I'll have something to discuss with you guys. But yeah, if you want to show up this weekend, Saturday, show on up. It'll be on this channel. I think if Hit makes it, he'll also be streaming on Watchtower. If we do a 3v3 thing, then Styles will probably go. If we do a 6v6, you'll see all of us, the whole crew there. I think the intent is to play a Rift. We're not going to be really doing a Q&A thing. I don't think it's going to be like ask Deej a bunch of questions. I think we're just going to have him on, play some Crucible. Try to keep your hate down to a minimum, or else I'm just going to ban people right away. It's not really for our people. It's for the people that will inevitably be watching and we'll have to ban. But yeah, so if you want to come by, you want to have a good time, you want to shoot up some people and watch us play Crucible, maybe ask you a couple questions. We can probably get them in if we can. But yeah, that'll be this coming Saturday on the 6th, Saturday night. I think.
Wait, that's not this coming Saturday then.
Or what's this coming Saturday?
This coming Saturday is
this coming Saturday.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 2 weeks from now.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
This is the 30th.
Oh, the 30th. Okay. So now that we've thoroughly confused everyone, it will be the 30th this Saturday at around 8 p.m. Central. I have to confirm the time, but you'll know about it this week via Twitter. So hopefully when this podcast gets released, whatever, we'll have a Twitter thing to go along with it, and we'll have its finalized time. Don't know what we're playing yet, but Deej from Bungie will be there. We'll have a good time. It'll be fun. So yeah.
Nice.
There's some site news. There you go.
All right. Well, on that, why don't we hop on over what we're playing? Joel, Dude I Rock Albert, what are you playing this week?
The normal Destiny raids I've still been doing, although I'm waiting on content, which I think the entire internet is. So my time is probably going to be sans Destiny fairly soon, but that's okay because I always come back. And I started playing because of our good friend over at NCSoft. I started playing Blade and Soul. Yeah. It's a new MMO. I think I saw a Facebook on post about it and about its release, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. It's a free-to-play game. It's doing really, really well in Korea. It's like one of those super Korean MMOs that they're trying to port over to the US, but in doing so, they're changing the language, the game style. They're really trying to Americanize it because it was so successful over there. They did a very good job. It's so far a really fun game. The free-to-play part of it is actually the best free-to-play I've seen in an MMO. That's not saying the gameplay is amazing, but the way they've set it up where you really, truly don't feel like you need to pay. And if you do pay, you're really just getting things like priority queues in the system. If the server's overloaded, or you're getting a little bit more XP, a little bit more HP, things like that while you're fighting mobs, small things that help you along the way, but nothing crazy, not really pay to win. So I've been playing that as well, and that's kind of my off time. But yeah, that's about it. What about you?
Well, I played a little Destiny. Obviously, that's something I can't give up. But I did branch out. I played some other games. So I busted out the PS4. I let it roll for 5 hours worth of updates because I was a little behind. It hadn't been turned on in a good 6 months or so. But I hopped on Pinball FX2 and played the new Star Wars Force Awakens tables, which are awesome, absolutely awesome tables. And I played a bunch of Harmonix's Amplitude. And both of those, super good.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm proud of you for not playing just like only Destiny. It seems like you're actually trying to get out there and like do something else, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it feels like you're in the Warcraft of Destiny now, where you're me, but in a different game.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to help you to get out of that a little bit and play some other video games.
Well, I'm trying, and
you are.
Destiny it's hurting on content at this point. Like this has been the longest I've gone without every single night being on Destiny. I go for the raids, and although this coming week I'm excited for Iron Banner with Rift. So.
Me too. Like a lot. Is it just me or everyone hates Rift? But me,
Rift is one of my favorite game types. Like,
I don't get.
I carry that fucking spark like nobody's business. I'm slamming that shit left and right. Fucking over the shoulder back slams. I love it.
I think that my only assumption is the reason is that if you go in by yourself to play Rift and you have no team, it can obviously be frustrating because no one plays the objective and everyone shoots each other, which I totally agree. But even then, I don't have nearly as much frustration as people seem to have when they're playing solo Rift.
No, because if you go in solo, and if you're I'm the guy that loves to carry it, so I can go in solo with a bunch of guys that are sitting around dicking around shooting everybody. I can pick up the spark. I know my routes. I know which way to go, and I go in there and I fucking slam it. And those guys are keeping everybody busy. So even if you go in as a solo, it's fun as long as you're the carrier guy.
I think that's why. I think like no one really wants to carry. I am like you. I like to carry. I like to smash. It's like the most fun ever when there's like 6 dudes just about to kill you and you smash and you just wipe out.
Oh, take them all out. Yes.
It's just a bomb. I think it's got a great feeling to it. It's a shame that like the entire community apparently hates it. I think I saw a poll on Bungie forums, which by the way, if you want to hate Destiny, or like if you think you like Destiny, go to the Bungie forums and immediately find out that everyone else other than you hates it because it's like the biggest cesspool. That or Reddit. You go to those two places and Destiny is the worst game that you've ever played. But like it got a poll on the forums that like they were trying to like, they even I think put up a petition to try to force Bungie, like sign this petition and send it to Bungie to force them to get rid of Rift altogether. Like because of them putting it in IB. Like they want to get rid of the game. It's a little ridiculous. Yeah, so I think I'm stoked. I can't wait to get a six group together, do some IB. I love it. We did trials yesterday. By the way, Light Tower again this weekend. Boom. What's up?
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm doing all I can in Destiny, but there are a couple of these things I still like to do. But I do feel like we're running out of time. I will say that. Like we're running out of time. Yeah.
Concur.
All right. Good shit.
All right. Well, on that, why don't we slam on over in the new releases? First new release out this week is a multi-platform release, and it's Lego Marvel's Avengers. And this is out for the Xbox One, the PS4, the Wii U, the 360, the PS3, the Vita, the 3DS, Macintosh, and PC. Woo! This is the 5,000th Lego game from the You Can Do No Wrong people over at Traveler's Tales, TT Games. This time, it centers around both of the Avengers movies, both Captain America movies, Iron Man 3, and Thor: The Dark World. It features over 200 playable characters, and this time not just from the MCU, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe for those of you out of the loop. It also features other characters from Marvel Comics that would fit into this world. It features full voice dialogue, but this time the voice is all ripped from the movies. So any voice dialogue you hear in the game is taken from the movies with the exception of Phil Coulson. He went back in the studio to record his stuff, as well as Agent Carter. She went in to record her stuff. So they're going to be probably the ones that fill the story with new dialogue, and then the rest is taken from the movie. So that's going to be pretty good. There's no early review scores out for this game yet, but everybody knows how well these Lego games do, and I assume this one's going to crush as well.
Are they still doing good? I wonder. I mean, I haven't seen numbers in so long.
I look at their Metacritic stuff, and they're always in the mid to high 8s, low 9s. They just keep knocking out of the park.
I mean, that's a fucking money machine, dude. That's an incredible. I mean, they've. I don't know what do you know what number they're on? It's like what 20.
Oh, yeah, this has to be in the 20s now.
It's insane.
Yeah, we'll do that as homework for the next show. I'll try to count these up. But yeah. It's got to be. Just if you look at ones with serialized, like you had. 2 Harry Potter ones, you had 4 Star Wars ones, you had 3 Batman ones, now you've had DC and Marvel, and now another Marvel, and like they just keep Jurassic Park. There's so many of them. So
and what's so crazy is like not enough years have gone by to warrant the amount that there are. So in my head, I'm only assuming there's like 3 or 4 a year because I'm like, how the fuck can they have this number? We've been doing Tool to Play for a little over a decade.
Yep.
There's more than 10 games, which means they're cranking this shit out like crazy.
I know.
So,
There was a point where I
it's
played
impressive.
every single one, and now and Tiff did too. And it got to the point now where you can't keep up, and you have other games that you got to fit in. But part of that too was playing with when my littlest was little. I used to play all of them with him, so it was really easy to
Right.
to bust that out during the daytime hours and then do my gaming at night or whatever. But yeah, they just keep crushing them out, and they seem to keep hitting it out of the park. I assume they'll keep this super accelerated release schedule as long as that happens.
Gravy train
why would
keeps
you?
rolling.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right. And I guess that's probably the only new release this week, because I'm not going to talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider. We've already talked about that, but it's out this week on PC. For those of you that are the master race, now you can get Rise of the Tomb Raider on your PCs. And on that, we'll hop on over to gaming news. What is going on, Tiff?
Hey guys, not much. Just enjoying the lovely winter weather.
Well, yes, our mild winter here.
Yeah, I know. I was actually disappointed we didn't get snow. I know it's so weird, but
that doesn't even make
I know
sense.
it's so not like me. I was actually disappointed we didn't get more snow.
No, I'm not. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've had enough snow.
I'm a fan of when it doesn't snow here too, and I don't have to fucking get out there at 6 a.m. and shovel my car out. Yeah, no.
Yes.
I'm cool with no snow.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, should we just hit the ground running and hop into the news, Tiff?
Sounds good.
All right. First story.
Fallout 4 on the Xbox One, PS4 mod news coming soon. And this is from the developers and via GameSpot. Eager to learn more about Fallout 4 mods on console, Bethesda plans to share further details soon, according to a message from the developer posted recently on Twitter. Asked by a fan when mods will be available on console, the official Fallout Twitter account replied, "We'll be sharing more details soon. Stay tuned." Bethesda didn't provide any further specifics on timing or what the announcement may entail. Though there have been loads of mods for Fallout 4 made on the PC, the game's official modding tool suite, the Creation Kit, is not yet available. This is due to arrive early this year on PC, with some supported mods coming first to the Xbox One and then eventually to the PlayStation 4. In an interview late last year, Bethesda marketing executive Pete Hines talked at a high level about the company's ideas for how it hopes the PC to console modding system will function. "We want to do it in a way that's easy," Hines said. "This is not about you have to have a PC, you have to do it yourself. The idea is you go to play the game, there's a menu option, you click on it, and there's a bunch of stuff for you to download. And you click on the stuff that you want, and you start playing a game with these new mods. So we want it to be a really streamlined, fun experience. There's still specifics that we have to work out. It's part of our post-launch plan." As for why Bethesda is bringing Fallout 4's PC mods to Xbox One before PS4, Hines said in a previous interview that Microsoft's history in and knowledge of both the PC and console spaces is partly the reason. Why Microsoft? They are a company that is in both these spaces. They're heavily in the PC space, they're heavily in the console space, Hines said back in June 2015. They had some pretty good ideas about how to make something like this work. So what do you guys think of this? Is this kind of a new generation of getting some mods on the console?
I sure hope so, man. I sure fucking hope so. It's one of the best reasons to own a PC. My biggest hope would be that they would make it easy enough for, say, a PC developer, a mod creator on the PC to just port his stuff over to console. I don't like the fact that you're going to have the difference of the two. I think that's a bad thing. But the idea of just doing any modding on a console is fucking awesome.
So Sony has had it with some games in the past.
Yeah,
So Sony has been disconnected from the kind of walled garden that Microsoft has had with the Xbox 360 in the past. And with the Xbox One, they kind of led us to believe this would be coming, but this is the real first ditch effort at this. So I think this is great news, and I'm not as nervous about the difference between PC and console here, because it's not the same. You're not going to be seeking out mods, downloading them, applying them, and running them that way. They have to give some mechanism to your typical console guy to be able to get these mods. And I don't think there's going to be a huge disparity. I think the biggest mods that are out for PC are going to be the mods that show up on the console, but they're just going to be presented to you in a nice, easy, menu-driven format that's easier for someone that doesn't have PC experience.
Well, do we know that our PC mods going to be easily ported to console, or that's the only thing? If that's the case, then that's fine.
I would assume that all mod development is going to be on the PC. Like, it's really hard to develop a mod on your console, right? So I would think that all the mods would be created on PC and then just pushed out to whichever platforms support that.
I hope that's the case. Like, 'cause my understanding is that you'd be doing like this sort of click and point modding, like which we've seen on consoles before, which I think is like, it's not really modding.
No,
It's hard.
I think they're saying it's point and click to download and play a mod versus having to go and, this site has Gary's mod and you download it and you apply it.
Well, that's been streamlined since Steam has come. I mean, that's been
Steam has done a great job with that.
Either, right? Like PC Race has been doing that for years as well.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping. Yeah, that's my hope is that like from this point forward, we get into that groove with developers where if there is modding available on the PC side, that it's automatically available to console users. I think that's the one part that console people really, 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 really miss out on. And it's especially important. This is where like I don't think this will ever happen. I hope it does, but map making used to be like one of the biggest things about PC ever, that you make your maps. And what really got rid of that was the inability to do that on the console. And then what that introduced, sadly, is DLC maps. There was really no such thing as DLC maps in the FPS world in PC because they would just let everyone else make
infinite maps.
Yeah, like there was no reason. And then sometimes the developer would say like, oh, here's a map pack, it's got like 3 other maps, but it's also free since we know that the community's already given you 60,000 maps anyway. Yeah. I would hope that at some point in the future we might be able to get a little bit closer or a little bit back to that. Now, having said that, Forge is really doing that, and I have to give it to not Bungie. Wow, I almost made a curse word there in the Halo world. 343 is really doing that now. And I actually think doing it very well. There are some bugs and glitches with the new Forge, but by and large, it's even better than the old one in terms of the level of detail that you can get to. But my problem with that, of course, is that you're modding on the system. I would love to give it in the hands of someone on a PC who can just go ape shit with like a 3D emulator or whatever that they have to work with using Maya and using all those awesome tools. Because that would really give you much more in your game than you could possibly get just being on a console. So yeah. This is cool shit. I hope it continues. I hope it becomes like a standard,
Yeah, no, I think part of it is that the mods that are out now for Fallout 4 on PC are all done by people that are literally hacking them into the game. And those are the ones that I don't think are going to come to console. Once these official mod tools come out for PC, then people are going to be using those to create content for PC and Xbox and eventually PS4. And I'm fucking pumped. If there's a good enough mod, like, think about something like the original Team Fortress. If you weren't a Quake person, but you love Team Fortress, you would have picked up Quake to play Team Fortress. That's, albeit one of the greatest mods of all time, eventually became its own franchise and own standalone game. One of the greatest
Dota,
maps. I will still say the best map of all time in a first-person shooter is 2 Fort for the original Team Fortress. It's been remade a million times. And everybody maintains the geometry. They maintain the layout. It might be skinned a little differently, but that is a map that came from someone out in the world, and that's what you want to see here. And I think that this is fantastic news.
That's why I just said Dota. I mean, it's amazing that modding creates games, and that's the one thing that I think the industry just needs to let happen, because you get amazing games. There would be no League of Legends if it wasn't for a guy in his basement modding, right? Like, if you didn't have that, then it would have never happened. Warcraft, the original Warcraft, having made that and then moving into actually getting Dota and then eventually Dota 2, that's where League of Legends came from. Now, currently the biggest game of pretty much all time. These things don't happen without mods. And that's why I still to this day think like you need the PC Master Race to get out there and build you these games in their free time and use the work of other developers to get there. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
Agreed. All right. Next story.
Dragon Age lead writer David Gaider leaves BioWare, and this comes from Joystick X and Gadget. You might not know his name, but if you've played a game from BioWare in the past 17 years, chances are pretty high that writer David Gaider had a hand in it, specifically the Dragon Age series of fantasy role-playing games. The news comes by way of Gaider himself, announcing on Twitter that Friday was in fact his last day at the studio. It wasn't an easy decision, the Dragon Age Inquisition lead writer tells Gamasutra. The parting is amicable, and I know my current and as yet unannounced project will carry on and be awesome. Gaider marks the latest high-profile departure from the studio following co-founders Drs. Ray Muzyka and Greg Zeschuk exiting the video game industry altogether in 2012. Last year, Mass Effect 3 director Casey Hudson left the RPG house and joined Microsoft as creative director, where he's now working on HoloLens and Xbox games. If you remember, Gator's been a prominent voice about the role inclusiveness plays in video games and has spoken on multiple panels regarding the very subject. You could even call it part of his legacy. In addition to writing for video games, he also published a few novels in the Dragon Age universe. So what do you guys think of this?
This is a big loss.
It's a big blow.
Yeah.
But
BioWare is known for
I was
stories.
but wouldn't you say this, that BioWare hasn't been BioWare since the two left? I mean, in my opinion, ever since SWTOR and the embarrassment that happened there, BioWare has really not been the storytellers of old.
Yeah,
and this is even worse.
Yeah,
now.
they were not. They were no longer running 110%. Like once those guys left, I remember Code and I talked about this story in 2012 when they were leaving, and he was a huge BioWare guy, and that was a big blow. And like you said, at that point things went down, and they were still like, people love the Dragon Age series.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Inquisition it did super well. The story was fantastic. I think that's thanks to him, not the rest of the storytelling team.
Right.
So losing him seems to be a huge blow for that company now. That I don't know what can happen with BioWare titles, and because I assume that there's another Mass Effect game in the pipeline, and
There is?
I would assume so. There always
There is.
is.
No, I'm saying there is.
There is.
There is absolutely one of them.
And we know what happened with the last Mass Effect game, where the storytelling was so shitty that the internet was up in arms. They didn't like the way it ended, and BioWare went back and they spun it and they fixed the ending. So.
Yeah, it's a big deal. When you're known as the storytelling company and the guy that really has generated the majority of your stories leaves, then yeah, I mean, it should give you pause. There's no question about it. I mean, I was a SWTOR guy when it first came out. I played it all the way through, and I think for about a year. And you felt the BioWare-ness of the game sort of leaving, especially when the two left. It's been getting better. In fact, the new expansion that just came out is really focused on solo play and is more about RPG and more about storytelling. And a part of me wonders if, knowing he's leaving, that they're really then all kind of creating this emphasis on storytelling again and really trying to harness the storytelling that's left in BioWare and maybe even bringing up some new blood. That's a good idea for them. I mean, this is an opportunity for BioWare to say, like, look, we've already lost our leadership. We're about to lose our leadership in storytelling, and maybe it's time to really buckle down and create more storytellers out of our company. So I don't know, it could be bad, but it also could be good. You never know in these situations.
Yeah, sometimes you torch shit down, and like the phoenix out of the ashes, someone new rises up. So yeah, it could be bad, but who knows? We'll definitely keep our eye on it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, next story.
Well, it's a slow news week, so we are on to this week's What the Fuck story. Yandir Simulator banned from Twitch, and this comes from Game Politics. The developer of stealth game Yandir Simulator announced on Twitter yesterday that his still-in-development game has been added to Twitch's list of prohibited games. In Yandir Simulator, players take the role of a psychotic scroll girl who stalks her crush and seeks to win his heart by eliminating any other person who might compete for his affection. The game is very similar to the Hitman franchise in that you try to murder people without anyone knowing it was you, or that a murder even took place. You can stage accidents and suicides, frame other students for your misdeeds, kidnap and psychologically torture rival schoolgirls until they do your murderous bidding, and bully others into committing suicide. It's a dark game offset by cartoony visuals. So why was it banned when you can stream Manhunt, GTA, Mortal Kombat, and a host of other super violent and gory franchises? What about sex? Well, there's partial nudity in the game, but that's about it. Bear in mind that you can still stream games with nudity and sex in them, like the Witcher titles, so again, why is Yandir Simulator a no-go? The developer doesn't know, and Twitch ain't talking, which is a shame because the dev says he'd be willing to make slight adjustments, such as increasing the size of the censor clouds on nude girls, if he knew what Twitch's beef was. As mentioned earlier, Yandir Simulator is still in development and likely a couple years from release. New builds are regularly made available for the public to download and take for a spin. You can follow the development of Yandir Simulator and try out the latest version at the developer's blog, which is http://yandirdev.wordpress.com. I was thinking of streaming Yandir Simulator development so people could watch me code the game. said the dev on Twitter. Guess that's out the window. So what do you guys think about this? Why is this game being banned? You guys have any ideas
This
here?
is a great story because I'm actually not sure how I feel about this. You know, on one hand, he's totally right. I don't see if you're going to have, especially something like Witcher, which has like the most nudity in a video game.
Scenes,
yeah, man, it's right. Like, I don't know. I think it's the context is what Twitch has a problem with, and that's really what this all comes down to. And that's very opinionated in and of itself. It's the context of the game that all this is occurring. But I don't know if they really deserve to be banned. I don't know.
Well, this reminds me of, well, this is a couple things. So first off, this yandir, which is a Japanese thing I didn't know about, which is like shikan, which is, you know, the Japanese groping on buses stuff. These are things that most of the world considers like sex offenses. And in Japan, they have a special name for it because it's an entire line of porn. And this yandir seems to be the same sort of thing where it's this kind of, you know, sexually driven violence type of thing. And then there's games like we had that Hatred game that was going to come out, and that was super over the top. But the violence was no different than the violence you would see in a GTA, but it was the context behind the violence. It was that you were this kind of sociopath just killing people for no reason versus the GTA thing. And that's where Twitch drew the line there. And I think that that's what they're doing here is they have no problems with games where you kill people. They have no problems with games that might have incidental nudity. But now you have a game where it's all about, you know, violent sexual type crimes and killing and nudity. And I think maybe that's where the line comes from, but I just don't know.
Yeah. Squatter's saying in chat that because it's kids specifically.
Yes,
but I would say that
that's a good point.
It's not kids, right? It's high school students, although I guess we can call them kids. But could you make the assumptions that the kids in that high school are 18 years old? Like, could you just say, what if you were to say like, oh, well,
they're only killing
seniors and they're all of age. So like, that's what's so weird about video games is it's, you know, it's all within the context of whatever the game's trying to tell you. And I'm not saying that just because they're 18, even that makes a difference. It may not. I mean, I think maybe the context of the school is all that's needed, and they could be 30-year-olds in a high school setting, and it would still draw the same amount of flack. It's just like, I guess it's, you know, everyone wants to know where you draw the line. I think that's, to me, the developer's question is just like, where is the line drawn? And because it's all based on context and opinion, I don't think you'll likely ever have Twitch, you know, outright and say like, oh, well, you can have nudity, but it can't be, you know, that they have to somehow be over 20 years old and you need to prove that your character's over 20 or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to spell out your lines. Yeah, because as soon as you spell out the lines, people can walk the line. So
exactly.
If you're vague and you do not spell out the line, then you either have to really teetote or you go the full on other end like Hatred, and then your game's just not on Twitch. But
right. I mean, ultimately, it's probably a good idea to ban a game like this because of that exact reason. I think a lot of these types of games are shock value, and that's like inherently what, like, there's no reason to make a game like this specifically. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no one's like, I wasn't
like,
for? I need a game where I play a schoolgirl and I kill schoolgirls. No one is looking for this game. Well, maybe in Japan. Some people are looking for this game.
Yes, exactly. In the freakish fucking world of Japan, where like 10,000 plus people play it in their basements with no one else knowing, who should probably also be arrested. Then it's a little, you know, it's more accepted. But I don't see a reason for the game to exist. And I do think, like, I think it's a creepy game. It's creepy. It's kind of fucked up. Like, so for that, like, if you were to ask me, you came to me, you're like, hey, dude, do you think we should ban this game? It's about this like really weird chick that goes around and murders people because she's crushed on them. Oh, and she's like in high school. I'd be like, that's fucked up. No, you shouldn't stream this. And also, you guys should check that guy out who's developing that because I'm pretty sure he has a dead body in his basement. Send someone over right now. So yeah, I mean, you know, that's my opinion, but
no, I concur.
Yeah. Derek, what do you think about the story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over to the mailbag and voicemails? 77 asks,
In the last year, we've seen many game designers spending time and resources creating experiences that are outside of the core gameplay, like SRL in Destiny, Fallout Shelter for iOS, and Gwent in Witcher 3. Do you think the man hours and creativity spent on these side projects would be better spent on improving the core gameplay experience and mechanics, or do these side projects bring some tangible benefit to gamers? That is an excellent fucking question from 77.
So here's a common misconception of game development. 77. Those teams that are building those things are not the teams that are building core. So it is, and this is why I never go to Reddit, and this is why I never go on the Bungie forums, because 99% of human beings that play video games do not understand what it actually takes to build them. Now, I'm lucky enough because I know people in the industry, and me and Derek have been doing this for a very long time. Both of us know at least what it takes to build it. Now, we've never built games ourselves. Well, at least not on the epic scale of something like Destiny. But we at least know the inner workings of how that works. And the problem is most people believe if you're working on an iOS app or you're working on SLR or whatever SRL in Destiny, that you must be then taking away time to build a raid, or you must be taking away time to fix PvP or fix a bug. That is completely false. In fact, live teams, and we'll just use Destiny as an example, the live team doesn't touch core at all, right? They may fix bugs that core pushes up to live that they then deploy, but they do not directly work on the raids, nor do they work on the maps or any of that stuff. Now, they might in the future, it's possible, but the reason that they're hired and that you see them there is simply to placate gamers while the actual team is either building Destiny 2 or building a new raid or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
they're built. Yeah, there's at least 3 teams in all of these places.
Like in fact, if you really, of course, you're going to ask me, so I'm going to tell you, World of Warcraft has almost at this point 200 plus developers, and the question still comes up. Well, why don't you hire more developers? It would make content go faster. Why don't you, I don't understand why you have this team working on aesthetic things like, boots and all these other things you can buy, or like mounts and things that, people pay money for. Because those aren't the guys that are working on the raid that you really want to play. And there is a finite amount of developers. And generally speaking, the developers that are of the skill level required to do the raiding stuff, those live guys aren't there yet. I'm not saying it's like the B team and they're shitty. It's just that it's a different type of animal altogether.
No, the biggest example here is the Fallout Shelter part. That I guarantee you, the guys that worked on Fallout Shelter, the app for iOS and then eventually Android,
nothing to do with
those guys have no console skills at all. They may never have even seen Fallout before. They were they had some kind of mechanic that was good for phones and free to play games. And they're like, let's bring these guys on to build an app to do this. Those guys are not your same team. SRL and Destiny, we can see that was more of like just a push on top of Crucible, because you could complete certain Crucible bounties while you were in SRL if you had certain weapons equipped. Like it was definitely an afterthought. It was, some guys had some racing stuff that they hacked in, and it was not a full team that was definitely working on that. It was not the team that's working on the 4th raid. I can guarantee that. So it is cool that this stuff comes out, and I don't think it's to the detriment of the game overall, whether people like it or not. Like, not everybody was an SRL person. I loved SRL. It gave me a chance to play a different game without leaving Destiny.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem is, like, again, gamers see this stuff getting made, and everyone wants a raid or everyone wants this expansion. And when they see SRL, it makes them see red. They're super angry because they're saying, why are you wasting time on this when we could be building this raid? And I see this as like the same post. If you want to go to Reddit and you want to see the same post every day, this is the post you'll see. It'll say, why are you spending all this fucking time on this stupid Valentine's Crimson shit? No one asked for it. It's dumb. You should be focusing on raiding. I guarantee you that they're focusing on raiding. Yes. I'm not saying specifically that there's going to be a new raid, but there's no fucking way the core team is spending time on what you know as this Crimson thing coming out for February. It's
they peeled off one arts guy to be like, hey, figure out how to reskin the tower and make it look all hardy. And that guy is like,
exactly right.
I'll take this tower.jpg and let me paste in some cut, paste. Just paste.
Now, it's probably not that easy, but it's really fucking close. Because asset-wise, and you look at it this way, and Derek brought up the point, Assets, and I'll give more viewers some lessons in game development. Assets are the hardest fucking thing to create. So believe it or not, the art is generally what takes the longest period of time when you're doing game development. I know it's weird thing to say, but art and designers specifically, if you want to get into game development, become a digital artist, you'll probably get in there faster than you can even think. But that's one of the hardest, most time-consuming things for a developer to actually build. The raids themselves, like when you talk about World of Warcraft specifically, generally speaking, when you ask those developers, it takes them almost like 6 months to do the art for the raid. The raid itself may take 3 plus the tuning of the raid, and they, right around the same amount of time. But because the art takes so long and you can't necessarily do anything until you have the art, it's a shitload of fucking time. And that's why when you see the Crimson stuff, just like Derek said, they already have the tower and they're like, okay, we're going to put some petals on it. We're going to make it red and then we're going to release it, because that's a hell of a lot easier than building a whole new fucking tower, or in this case, a raid. So there we go. I'm glad we got this question. It's an amazing question because you get to actually tell people.
Yeah. Nice work, 77. Great question, brother.
Awesome shit.
All right. And Altius asks, what are your convention plans? PAX South this weekend? PAX East? E3? More? Do you think we're going to see a lot of big VR showcasing at all of these events? So I can say right out of the gate, none of us are covering PAX South. PAX South is the lesser of all the PAXs. Even our good friend of the show, friend of ours, Larry Herb, Xbox Live's Major Nelson, is not even going to PAX South. That said, PAX East, Tiff and I will definitely be there, along with at least Aaron A.S. and some of our writing staff. We will be covering that. E3, usually one of my favorite times of the year. Get to spend a lot of quality time with Joel Dude I Rock Albert, but he has his wedding coming up this summer, and so Tiff and I will be
stupid love.
Tiff and I will be two-manning E3, but yeah, that literally is one of my favorite times of the year, spending a week with Joel Dude I Rock Albert, and you will be missed, sir. It will not be the same without you.
Normally I get all pissy about going to E3, which like everyone hates me because I'm like, oh, I gotta go to E3. This sucks. Of course, once I'm there, I'm like, why the fuck do I bring?
Yeah.
But I'm super bummed now that I know that I'm not going. I think is what it is. I'm like, fuck.
It won't be the same without you. But yeah, so we will be covering PAX East and E3 to multiple extents, and I am sure that VR is going to be on the front of all of these events. That is some of the best experiences I've had in the last couple events I've been to have been with VR. And I think it's only getting better and better and better. So I don't know. I'm just assuming.
I mean, my big thing too with the VR showcasing is this is the coming out party for VR. So like, and there's no chance, I will even say this, there's no chance that it won't happen, right? Like VR for at least the next year, you're going to be bombarded like fucking crazy every single day. For multiple reasons, but one of which, too, the VR is extremely expensive. We already did a show about how expensive it is. It's going to take a lot of consumer convincing. And the only way to have consumer convincing is to make sure it's on the minds of every single fucking gamer out there. And so, yeah, you're going to see it everywhere. It's going to be fucking every single booth. You'll have games that you are interested in, but then in the booth, they'll have the VR component for that game. I would guarantee that as well. So yeah, it's going to be everywhere.
The PAX is even more so because that's your consumer level show. It's not your media show. All of us in media have played with various VR things for years now. But I think that your PAXs are the point where Joe Schmo, Joe Sixpack, he comes in and he gets his first experience with VR. And now you have to sell him on why he wants an Oculus Rift. Or probably the easier sell is why he wants the PlayStation VR. Hey, he's already got a PlayStation. It's a value add. You're not buying a $1,500 PC to power a $600 peripheral. It's a much easier sell. But I think that these things are going to be first and foremost put out on the edges of these booths. You're not going to be able to avoid them. And I think it's going to be super strong this year in all of the cons.
And Blue Steel brought up the point in chat too. I just wanted to comment on that there's no content. And I think that's going to be the real thing my biggest point was that you're going to see it for games that you're even interested in seeing that maybe you didn't know had a VR component to them or that VR worked with them. Specifically with Xbox, because or maybe you guys don't know, but it comes with an Xbox controller. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it does. If you buy the new Oculus Rift, it comes with an Xbox One controller. And the reason for that is a lot of the games are going to have some sort of parity. Now, it's not going to be full VR, but you'll be able to play a lot of those Xbox One games with VR. So I think just because of that, the content is going to be the biggest thing that they're going to try to push this time around. Because they know leading up to this release, if there is no content, Blue Steel's totally right, there is no Rift. So, yeah. That time will tell. But yes, that's a big deal.
All right. And we will we'll keep you abreast of our con stuff as we move through the calendar year. All right. Well, great questions, guys. If any of you have feedback like that, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment on this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors. Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help support Still Got Game. ThinkGeek. Now, I did not rewrite our copy this week, so I'm going to give you the short and sweet of this. ThinkGeek, we all order from. ThinkGeek has the products we all love. It's the geek products that everybody needs. So if you're going to go to ThinkGeek and shop, go to tooltoplay.com/geek first. Just do it. Like, it doesn't take you any extra effort. You can type thinkgeek.com or you can go to tooltoplay.com/geek, and that helps us out. Buy your shit from ThinkGeek. Also, the Craft Beer Club. Everybody here loves to drink. I love to drink. I'm not a beer guy, but maybe I'll send someone some beer subscriptions. So the Craft Beer Club is a beer of the month club of craft beers. You get some free pint glasses with it. You can either get it for yourself, you can give it as a gift. There's all kinds of special bonuses you get for signing up. So if you're going to do that, go to tooltoplay.com/beer. That's tooltoplay.com/beer, and then buy it that way. You get all of the discounts and it helps the show. So tooltoplay.com/geek, tooltoplay.com/beer, help us the fuck out. And if you'd like to sponsor us, you tell us what you're selling. We'll tell you if you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related is at twitter.com/still_got_game. I, king of the fucking internet, got everything that's fucking holy. I'm at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And I'm at twitter.com/DudeRock.
And Tiff is at twitter.com/Electrify. Facebook the fuck us. Facebook.com/Tool to Play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeRock.
Facebook.com/Tiff Nolan. She's giving me the maybe face. That's probably it. Tiff Nolan. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool to Play. That's the place to find all of Tool to Play's archive video content, whether it's one-offs, whether it's weekly shows like this, whether it's semi-monthly shows like Thick and Thin with LB and Duty, or fan favorite Hit's motherfucking hits, because Hit is bringing that shit back. He has told us. We had a pre-show conference call tonight where Hit talked all about his plans for what's going on with Hit's Quick Hits for the next year. He has a bunch scheduled out, and once those go live, we're going to tweet them out. We're going to let everybody know when they're coming, but everybody loves Hit's motherfucking hits. Please rate and review us on iTunes. This podcast is on iTunes. We started it from scratch with each rename like idiots. And as Still Got Game, it is a brand new show and it needs a lot more reviews. And that would help us there on iTunes. So go there, give us a 5-star review. And then if you are so inclined to have 10 extra seconds, just type something nice about the show. And like we do every week, here is a featured iTunes review from iTunes. This one is from T-Box302, and we love T-Box. We've played with him at LANs before. He's out in Chicago. Great guy. So review title, Great Gaming Podcast. Of course, requisite 5 stars. What else do we deserve? Entertaining gaming news from 2 wild and crazy guys. Keep up the good work, fellas. Now see, that didn't take him long. He probably went there. He clicked the 5-star thing. He was like, what can I say? Boom. He was probably done before he even had to think about what he was typing. And that's the kind of thing we like, right, Jay?
Yeah, we like a little thought and a lot of action.
And a lot of stars.
Mostly stars. Yeah.
Mostly stars, yes. All right. And we also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tool to Play. That is where Tool to Play broadcasts all of our shit. We broadcast gameplay. We broadcast shows like this, like Thick and Thin with LB and Duty featuring Hitman on the side. We have a team, the Tool to Play team. We can all broadcast this channel as individuals and we can provide content there. So twitch.tv/tool to play. You can follow us there. Following costs you nothing, but there's also a subscribe button there. It's either on this side or this side. And when you click that subscribe button, it costs you almost nothing. But that money goes directly to us. There's no sponsors that's taking 99% of that and kicking back 1 cent. It is directly paying for the media and the entertainment that you so love. So go there, click subscribe, and help us out. And you will not be disappointed. Looking in chat right now, I see a handful of our subscribers there, and they all seem super pleased with their investments of what amounts to less than a cup of coffee twice a month. Maybe it is not expensive.
You're like Sally Struthers right now. It's great.
Yeah, you could save 2 aging video game babies by subscribing to the show. And that would be me and Jay, in case you're confused on my metaphor.
But we are aging babies. Yes.
Yes. All right. I guess before we wrap up, I want to remind you all, you can join us each and every Monday night here, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/tool to play. And on that, why don't we wrap this fucking amazing episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel Dudai Rock Albert.
Every other week or better.